Good morning, folks. As folks come in, I'll go ahead and start talking a little bit about the series before we get started about our info series for today, which is all about inspections. We have a few subject matter experts in the room today. We have Marty, Scott, and Brian to let you know everything they know. Well, no, not everything. To let you know important information about inspections. As folks are joining in, I'm going to talk a little bit about the series that we have today. So you're joining our what we call the info series. It's the educational series that we offer our community to talk about helpful information, practical tips, insights, and services that we provide. I like to think of it as a beginner. If you know nothing about development, our info series is a great place to start. In the past, we just had one not too long ago on different types of permits. And then we started also this year in January with like zoning, what to know, what's the difference between zoning and land use. So each session helps our homeowners and our community members and our stakeholders feel more informed, more empowered on development services. Sometimes we bring also experts from other departments. Development spans many different departments. So sometimes we have folks from water, from fire. Today it's mostly folks from development services. But we do bring your subject matter experts to you for folks who know about and who do these services every day, and with our hope that they share their knowledge and answer your questions to have that useful information as you navigate your process. I'll go ahead and get started again. My name is Isis Lopez. I'm the Engagement Manager for Development Services Department. And today we are going to talk about inspections, what to know. We have in the room with us Marty, Scott, and Brian, who all have helpful information about inspections. And so we'll run through the presentation. And then another thing that I will say is if you want to sign up for future info series, I'll go ahead and put it in the chat. I'll share the public input page, and that is publicinput.com/info series. You want to share it to your friends and your colleagues. Today we're doing inspections. And so January, we talked about land and zoning, and then we talked about permitting. And so now there's multiple stages where inspections can happen. And so this highlights where they're required, and then some common reasons that projects could get delayed. The month of May is actually Building Safety Month. And so we'll be talking about the role that building codes play in safety and in our community. And so you'll get to learn how they shape the spaces where we live, work, learn, and play. So check that out. That'll be happening on May 21st. You can sign up and register using the Zoom registration in that public meetings page. And if you want to check out any of our previous sessions, I'll go ahead and share the link for our public meetings page. All of our stakeholder meetings and all of our educational sessions, we record them and we post them in our public meetings page. There you'll find a archive of all of our info series. We also have another one that's more technical called the Land Development Academy. We also have a recording of those, but that one I will say is not for beginners. We have a whole lot more detailed, like Site Plan 101 and Understanding Technical Criteria Manual. And so if you want to get technical and do deep dives on the site plan review process, go ahead and check out the classes in the Land Development Academy. We have all of our archives in there, as well as the info series. All right, next slide. Before we get started, I want to overview the format for today's session. We're going to have a presentation by our subject matter experts here in the room today. And then we're going to have opportunities for you to ask them questions. You can participate in two ways. So throughout the presentation, you can use the Q&A feature that's in Zoom. It should be in the bottom of your screen. If you have any troubles finding it, let me know, send me a chat, and I'll help you troubleshoot it. But using the Q&A helps me keep track of which questions we've answered and which ones we haven't answered. You can also raise your hand and ask your question verbally. If we have time, we'll get to those as well. I'll note that this presentation is being recorded. It will be posted on our public meetings page, so you'll get to check it out and view it later. And then we hope to get to all of your questions, but we might not have time or we might not have all the available answers. And so we'll get to as much as possible, as many questions as possible, given that we have those answers. But the ones that we don't, we'll get back to our participants and look them up. All right, so here's an overview of what we'll talk today. We'll start with environmental inspections. Then we'll overview residential inspections and commercial inspections, and then we'll have opportunities for y'all to ask questions. All right, and with that, we'll turn it over to Brian to get us started. Brian?
Hi, good morning. Thank you, Isis. Yes, everyone. My name is Brian Egan, and I'm the division manager for the Environmental Inspections and Enforcement Division here with the City of Austin's Development Services. So, welcome everyone to our presentation this morning. Next slide, please. So, this is kind of a breakdown of what our division actually does. We look at residential tree and environmental inspections. On the commercial side, for all the large development you see across the city, we're looking at commercial tree and environmental inspections. We also conduct inspections for general permits. As I mentioned previously, we do have an enforcement team that responds to all of the 311 service requests we get, the complaints that come in regarding environmental concerns, tree concerns, sedimentation, discharges throughout the city. We have an underground storage tank team, sorry, that actually inspects and enforces all of the city ordinances and regulations for fuel stations, gas stations, dispensary pumps, all the hazardous materials that are held in those tanks underground. And then we have a team that inspects the boat docks, and that's for the registration program, for the addressing requirements on the boat docks, and for any new development on the shoreline, including boat docks, retaining walls, any shoreline improvements. Next slide, please. So this is kind of a breakdown of what our division did for fiscal year 2025. Routine inspections, those are inspections that are basically scheduled for once a month to be out at that site to make sure and ensure that we have compliance, environmental compliance on that active site. So for FY25 on the residential team, we were conducting an average of 1,207 inspections per month. On the commercial side, we were looking at about 1,530 inspections per month. Called inspections, those could be a pre-construction meeting, a final inspection, an interim inspection, some type of an inspection that was called either usually by the permit holder. It could be the property owner or the builder or the developer. Those take a priority over the routine inspections once they're called so that we can get those addressed and get the builder moving forward with their project. We averaged about 651 inspections on the residential side, with 91% of those being performed on time within 72 hours of the call date. Next slide, please. Same thing for the called inspections on the commercial side. We have a larger team on the commercial side. We're averaging 27 called inspections. You can see it's not as big, not as large a volume on the called inspections. So we were able to hit 100% of those on time. Pre-construction meetings, again, we view that as a priority as well. So we're able to hit 100% of those pre-construction meetings on time, which are performed within 72 hours of the date that inspection's scheduled. Enforcement of non-compliance, I mentioned previously, the enforcement team handles the 311 complaints that come in, all the service requests. We average 117 complaints per month, with 99% of those performed within 24 hours. That 24 hours an earmark we have, but I can tell you 99% of those are generally performed where an inspection is conducted with eyes on that site within 2 hours of receiving that complaint. Next slide, please. As far as community engagement and improvements within our division offers lunch and learns that are open citywide. And some of those topics are enforcement actions. We speak on residential inspections, commercial inspections, and we've also included boat dock inspections in those lunch and learns. Those lunch and learns are conducted here at the PDC, the Permit Development Center, here at Wilhelmina Delco Drive. ESIS can provide that address if you are interested, and a link to those courses later in this series. We also provide digital and physical literature, both to stakeholders, including builders, property owners, developers, anyone looking for any type of educational material or any of that literature where they have questions. Um, we conduct meetings and presentations after hours as well with homeowners associations, neighborhood associations as well, focusing on environmental inspection processes, compliance, and environmental stewardship. We will come out to your location if it's a neighborhood or homeowners association, and we will meet with property owners at one of their meetings and provide education and hold a question and answer session as well. Next slide, please. Part of that community engagement and improvements that our division's made, alongside of that citywide comprehensive training that's open to all staff, we're now conducting this as well for my apologies, open to all city residents. This is also now currently provided to all of our citywide staff for other department employees as well. We conduct this training monthly, and it's mandatory for all of our environmental inspection staff with topics including regulatory compliance, erosion controls, tree protection. And this program is focusing on reducing the environmental impacts, ensuring compliance with the local ordinances, and maintaining safety protocols on the job sites. Next slide, please. So at this time, I'm going to turn this over to Scott Cochran. He's the division manager. He'll introduce himself for residential building inspections. Appreciate everyone's time today. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Brian. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. My name is Scott Cochran. I'm the division manager for the residential building inspections group. What I want to do today is kind of run through, and I have a lot to share, so bear with me. But kind of get you familiar with the IRC, what it covers, and really basic overall inspection processes and what we're looking for during our inspections. And this is a really basic overview. Obviously, every job is different, but this kind of gives you a good idea of how everything should work in a flow. Next slide, please. So yeah, we currently operate under the 2024 International Residential Code. What that code is developed by the International Code Council. It really outlines the minimum requirements, and that's what it is. It's minimum requirements for construction of 1 and 2 family dwellings and townhomes as well. Those code cycles are updated every 3 years. Depending on different variables, doesn't mean we update or we adopt a new code every 3 years, but the codes are updated every 3 years. Local governments adopt sometimes modifications, meaning amendments to those codes. And the IRC, if you just think about it plainly, the IRC is a baseline safety and quality standard for building homes. If a home meets IRC requirements, you can consider it safe and reliable. Next slide, please. So the purpose of the IRC is to protect the health and safety of the occupants and future occupants. It's also to help protect our first responders as well. It ensures homes are structurally sound and safe from hazards like fire, electrical hazards, or collapse. Standardizes construction practices. Builders, inspectors, and designers all follow a consistent set of rules, reducing confusion and errors. It promotes durability and quality. The code helps ensure homes last longer and perform well over time. Um, Also, energy efficiency is a big thing. Modern versions include requirements that help reduce energy use and utility costs. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned in the first slide, buildings covered under the IRC would be single-family homes, two-family homes, you can call them duplexes, buildings consisting of 3 or more townhome units, and all buildings within scope of IRC are limited to 3 stories above grade plane. Next slide. The IRC coverage components. So there's a lot in the IRC. It's a nice thick book if you've never seen one before. All components of a house or townhome, including structural components. So it goes over, if you just want to think about it in a general sense, fireplaces, chimneys, your building envelope, thermal insulation, mechanical systems, fuel gas systems, plumbing systems, and electrical systems. Basically, any and all things in and out that run throughout your house, the heartbeat and the veins. Next slide. So the purpose of inspections, not everybody likes to pull permits, but there is really good reason to do so. You, in a general sense, get an overall view and check of structural integrity, load path and bracing rules, and these are just a few bullet points, but fire resistant requirements, egress and access requirements for your occupants and first responders. As I said earlier, this isn't just for the occupants, this is also for our first responders to make sure that they have proper openings and the stairways are tall enough or wide enough for them to be up and down with the building apparatuses. Overall life safety requirements is really key, and that's what we really try to focus in on. Next slide, please. So who performs these inspections? When you have an active permit, as far as the city goes, you've got your city inspector who is state licensed in plumbing, other endorsements as well, but also ICC certified. What the hopes of being a combination inspector, being certified in building, mechanical, plumbing, energy, and electrical. Inspectors adhere to a combination of codes. That's international codes, state codes, and local municipal codes and ordinances. Next slide, please. So I wanted to run you through, when it comes to a building permit, I really wanted to run you through just a basic overall general sense of the number of inspections there are, but more importantly, what flow they should operate in. One that's not on here, and that's my fault, I didn't add it. The first thing, for the most part, that will occur, especially if you're in an infill area, is going to be a 619 environmental pre-con inspection. After that, you'll have a layout inspection. At layout, we're going to be identifying that your forms are set. You're going to need a form survey uploaded to the building permit. On that survey, we'd like to see setbacks. We want to make sure that you're not encroaching into a building line. If there's an overhead power hazard, which a lot of the infill lots do have, we'll sometimes ask to get a measurement. Let's make sure that structure's got the proper horizontal clearance from that overhead line. If you're in a floodplain, we want to see the FFE, which is finished floor elevation. We want to make sure that you're elevated high enough above flood requirements, FEMA requirements. A foundation inspection. We do not conduct foundation inspections. We depend on third-party engineer to do those inspections, and what they'll do is they'll inspect it prior to pour, obviously. And once that's done, they'll upload their letter stating that foundation was poured to code requirements and the specifications. Framing inspections are done what that is just really a basic overall, verifying the structural supports. Like I said earlier, brace walls, loads, so on and so forth. All the building structural requirements match what the approved plans are. Um, with new construction, that's going to be a grouped inspection. It's going to be grouped with framing, plumbing top out, and mechanical rough. There's a few slides here a little bit later on that talk about our process flow. You can find that information online. Um, Fire resistant ready construction, that's interior firewall construction. Let's just say, for example, a duplex. We'll be looking at that interior demising wall. That'll be part of our fire resistant ready construction inspection. Or if you have an exterior wall that requires a 1 hour uh, firewall, then we'll be looking at that as well. That'll be part of the 106 fire resistant ready construction. Insulation would be next. This is after you've gotten your approval to essentially, let's move forward. You're past the frame. Let's insulate the walls. It's your next step forward. And we're just looking to make sure that your energy efficiency, the correct R value is being in place, or foam is being properly placed in the ceilings and the walls. Next slide, please. So you move on to wallboard after that once you've gotten your approval. For new construction, it's third-party verified. It's remodels. Excuse me one second. Remodels or additions, more than 128 square feet removed are inspected by a third party or a residential building inspector. So important thing there is if it's a remodel 128 square feet or more, you have the option of either hiring a third party or you can ask the city inspector, schedule your your wallboard inspection and ask for the city inspector to do the inspection. However, all new construction is going to be done by a third party, ICC certified or a certified design professional. The termite inspection will be next. That's just going to be a third party. Your termite treatment company will essentially give you a HUD 99B form or a state of Texas wood destroying form. They'll fill that out, give it to you or the builder, which then needs to be uploaded to the building permit. We'll verify that all the areas of the home were treated. The address matches, and it's a real quick paperwork inspection. And we'll verify that everything matches and pass that inspection. Then you're on the final building. Again, new construction, this is going to be a grouped inspection. Just remember that these steps are broken down only to building permit only. So, but your final building inspection would be next and final. And that's the entire project's complete. And we're just doing a general overview, exterior and interior. And yeah, and next slide, please. Sorry. Stages of mechanical inspection. So again, specific to mechanical permits only. Basic overview, if this was a new construction permit, there's really only two things we're looking at as far as the processes go. Mechanical rough inspection, which is done with the framing. That's going to be an HVAC and ventilation systems before they're concealed. So we're looking at the ductwork, making sure that R values are correct. We're looking at your vent hood if it's installed already, your exhaust ducts for your utility rooms and your bathrooms, making sure that they terminate to the outdoors. All minimum code requirement things. And then a mechanical final, we'll see you again for again grouped mechanical final building, final plumbing, and final energy. HVAC and ventilation systems fully installed, operational, and safe prior to occupancy. Next slide. Specific to plumbing permits, throughout the construction process, we're going to do a plumbing rough inspection. That's verifying your drain, waste, and vent systems are installed prior to concrete to code. Plumbing pre-pour as well, drain, waste, and vent. We're looking at that again. They should be on test along with your water supply lines, and we're going to make sure that those are all installed as well prior to placement of concrete. Sewer yard line inspection. That's going to be your underground sewer line that will connect to the city tap. Sewer tap as well. We'll be looking to make sure that sewer yard line is connected to the city tap properly. And then your water yard line inspection. That's your underground water supply line coming from Austin Water's meter up to the building. Make sure that it has proper depth and the installments essentially to code. There's a few different variables that goes into that. Next slide, please. Gas yard line as well. Anything that branches off from the main line. If it's a line ran from the meter source, Texas gas meter source to the building, that will be a Texas gas inspection. We will not conduct that inspection. Anything teed off from that, let's say if you're going to a pool heater or secondary unit, that inspection will be part of the City of Austin inspection. Gas rough, that's going to be your interior gas lines running throughout your home. At frame group, we're going to ask that those lines be on test. We'll verify that they're holding a test, and that's what we're looking at there. And that's prior to drywall. And then we're looking at your plumbing top out. That's your drain waste and vent systems and your water supply as well. So it's essentially everything that we looked at prior to placement of concrete, but now that you're vertical, we want to make sure that everything is still holding. And you're also at this point running ventilation lines up through your roof and out to the outdoors. And then in final plumbing, we're looking at your gas systems holding the test, and we're looking at all of your interior installations are to code, such as your P-traps, and you have hammer arresters for your washing machine, and there's a lot that goes into it, but just a basic overall sense that everything is holding and it's safe for occupancy. Next slide, please. Stage of electrical inspections. Again, prior to concrete, well, not on this one actually. Actual electrical slab is your underground conduit, so anything ran underground. Electrical grounding is going to be grounding electrical system installed safely prior to concrete. Your electrical rough is going to happen during your frame, or it's actually going to happen before your frame group inspection. And that's essentially, we're looking at electrical systems installed in the walls, ceilings, floors, anything prior to concealment. And then we're going to see you again at final electric, make sure the system is complete, safe, the building is safe for occupancy at that point. Next slide, please. Yeah, so what I mentioned earlier about the inspection process flow, you can find a lot of links on our website, specifically residential. You'll see these hyperlinks. You'll see a process flow chart. That'll run you through what a new construction process looks like from start to finish. There's some inspection checklists online as well that you can utilize. Kind of gives you a general overview of the basic items that we're looking for during inspections and then during those stages of inspections. Residential building inspector phone list. That phone list is updated periodically, and it's checked on to make sure it is updated. That is a great resource for you if you're not aware of who your inspector is, or if you're trying to get a hold of someone specific to your area. We have our list of supervisors that are broken down into quadrants: northwest, northeast, southwest, southeast. If your project is in the southeast and you're not sure of who your inspector is or who to get a hold of, you can go to that hyperlink, look at the southeast supervisor's name, call him, and they'll be able to help you out. Residential appointments and contacts as well. Next slide, please. Building criteria manual online, just another great resource to be able to utilize. You can do a quick search engine, Google, Bing search, whatever you want to do. But type in City of Austin Building Criteria Manual, probably one of the first 1 or 2 links that pop up. If you go to 4.6.0, that'll give you a really good sense of inspections from start to finish as well. What they look like and what content we're looking for. Next slide, please. Yeah, just a brief view of the new construction flow. Kind of went over this throughout the slides, but I'll go quickly through it. Pre-construction or layout inspection happens first, then your plumbing rough inspection, electrical grounding, and then plumbing pre-pour. That's once the pad is built up for the foundation. Once it's poured, we're going to see you again electrical rough inspection. And then after that passes, you'll schedule your framing, mechanical rough, and plumbing top out, plumbing gas rough as well, if applicable. And that would be all grouped together. Schedule all same day, same time. Once all that passes, we'll move on to installation inspection. Um, and then after that, we don't see you again. Remember, this is new construction, but we won't see you again until after your DS permit has passed its final. Next slide, please. Yeah, DS permit's passed its final. Final electrical inspection has been done. One-time inspections. If it's new construction, most likely you're going to have a 611 water tap. You can find that information on your permit. It's listed under one-time inspections. So if they're applicable, it'll be an Awesome Water, maybe an AFD fire inspection, whether it be a WUI or a final sprinkler inspection. And then, of course, your final environmental inspections. Once all of that is done, steps, 8 and 9 there, we'll do a mandatory grouped inspection at final. That'll be final energy, final plumbing, final mechanical, final building. And then if you haven't done so already, you'll schedule your foundation, wallboard, and termite inspections along with it. Just make sure those letters are uploaded, those applicable letters are uploaded to the building permit. And yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, just some real quick common failure items I just wanted to share. Just some real quick top 10 things we kind of see. Addresses not posted on site. If we pull up and don't see an address on a building, whether it be spray painted on the foundation or in some sort of marking, we don't know that we may exactly be at the right place. So it's actually a grounds for a failure. Also, city approved plans on site. Just one common thing we see is if it doesn't have our city approved stamp on it, whether it be the original stamp or a photocopied stamp, we technically don't have the proper documents to conduct the inspection. A lot of what we do see is the non-approved architectural prints will be there. Those may be the same set that are approved, but if they don't have the stamp on it, we just simply can't do the inspection. No access, so no code, no lockbox code left for us. There was no instructions left online as far as, the lockbox code or where to enter or so on, or who to call, so on and so forth. Deficiencies previously noted, not corrected prior to rescheduling. Yeah, if there's a list of 6 or 7 deficiencies, it's not uncommon for us to show back up, and I'm not sure if the job's not getting walked before it's rescheduled. Who knows? There could be a number of different variables. But it's always important to obviously try to get the subcontractors to correct those items previously before calling the reinspection back in. And the third-party documentation, very common for us to have a foundation inspection scheduled, and all we're looking for is that third-party letter, and it's just simply not uploaded. Same thing applies to the wallboard, termite, as well. Next slide. Yeah, prerequisite partner department inspections not passed. So for example, if you're in a WUI area, new construction, before your frame group inspection can take place, you're required to have your initial WUI inspection done by Austin Fire Department. Similarly, at final, you're required to also have your fire final done prior to scheduling your final inspections. Same thing applies for environmental and Austin Water. So just be cognizant of your prerequisite inspections, and if you're not familiar with what those are, again, visit our flow chart online. Grouped inspections not scheduled correctly. Yeah, if it's a group final, there could be a prerequisite Austin Water inspection that hasn't been done yet. So that is going to prevent you from scheduling your building final, but you're allowed to schedule everything else systematically. If we don't see them scheduled together, it's most likely going to be an automatic fail. Prerequisite and building inspections not scheduled in order. Yeah, that would just be trying to schedule your frame group before your electrical rough is passed. It's everything needs to occur in steps. It just helps the overall process, go smoother. And again, if you're not familiar with those steps, visit our website online. We have a flow chart that'll help you navigate. Next slide, please. Just some more helpful online resources. If you want to see a copy of this or have questions, ECs and her team can provide that to you after the meeting. Next slide. Okay, I'm finished. Thank you for bearing with me. There was a lot there, and I'm going to pass it over to Martin Sterrett of Commercial Inspections.
Thank you, Scott. Yes, good morning, everybody. I'm Marty Sterrett, Division Manager, Commercial Building Inspections. My group does the commercial building, commercial plumbing, commercial mechanical, commercial electrical inspections. Next slide, please. So a lot of information that I'm going to tell you is probably similar to what Scott just got through on the residential, because we are similar except the type of buildings that we inspect. So what inspections are and why they exist? What is the role of the local building department? So per any local, state, even federal statutes, ordinances that adopt any building codes, we're as inspectors, we're to enforce those codes. Per the IBC, which my group is under, the building inspectors, the authority having jurisdiction is the one responsible for enforcement of the building code, and us as inspectors, we're kind of the deputy of the building official. Also, the legal and safety requirements. So I know you heard Scott mention minimum code. So the things that he outlined, like egress and things like that, those are all building safety requirements, and it's our job as inspectors to ensure that those minimum requirements are met. And so, how can inspections protect property owners and contractors? Next slide, please. This is a good example. I don't know if you remember the fire New Year's Eve in Sweden, where the several people were killed and injured through that fire. This particular owner here, now he's going to be in court, and the building official is going to come to court and go, no, he hasn't. He did all that work without inspections. Or if you had an inspection, we could go to court and say, yes, everything was installed to minimum code. So that's the way we can help the owner for their particular structures. Next slide, please. And similar with what Scott said, commercial inspections, we pretty much have the same flow as far as inspections concerned. The very first one you have to have in commercial is the building pre-con. You cannot schedule a mechanical, plumbing, electrical, or any other building inspection until that initial pre-con construction is held. And then usually what you want to do during that pre-con with the building inspector is kind of talk about upcoming inspections, what inspections would be needed. I want to note that not all processes on the inspections are needed. There's some it depends on each project, but typically you're going to have a foundation and footing inspection, framing and structural inspection, insulation and energy efficiency checks, drywall and interior inspections, and then you're also going to have your MEP inspections. That's your mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. Those will be done by the trade inspectors, and then the one-time inspections, I'll talk about those here in a minute. Then after all those are done, then you'll have your final inspection and certificate of occupancy. Next slide, please. So as Scott mentioned, on the residential, it's same. We have a lot of resources are available on the building inspections webpage. As he's shown on residential, same with commercial. We have commercial process flow charts and even some commercial inspection checklist, and also our inspector phone list is also found on that page. So the flow chart is a good resource to determine what inspection you might need. Next slide, please. And here are some of the examples. We have the commercial building inspection, mechanical, plumbing, electrical inspection flow chart. There's also the tree protection, erosion, sediment control flow chart, and then the temporary certificate of occupancy process flow charts. These are all valuable resources. Next slide, please. So for instance, if you looked at the commercial building process, it shows the framing and interior inspections, and then it shows the WUI needed to be done before any of the framing inspections. Like Scott mentioned, similar in residential, if you're in a WUI area, that would go first. And then we do, as far as commercial building is concerned, our framing inspections are done with third-party letters. And then a lot of those letters have to be due during the final inspection. And that's one of the issues that we have sometimes with the final. Next slide, please. The one-time inspections. So in the commercial building inspections, we're only doing the building, plumbing, mechanical, and electrical inspection. But there are other departments that are a part of the development process that you have to have inspections before you can move forward, say for your final inspection, your final CO. You can find these if you take your building permit, the one you actually print out, on the back of it, it'll actually show you the different inspections that you're required to have. Like the example I've got on the slide, you need an auxiliary water, environmental, plumbing, building, fire, sewer tap, driveway, health, sidewalk, electric, mechanical, and water tap. So some of these inspections are not part of us with building inspections, like fire, health, et cetera, So these one-time inspections will need to be performed before you can actually schedule your building final. Typically, you go with the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, and then you go to your one-time inspections, and then go to your building final. Next slide, please. Also, another issue that may hold up a building final is administrative holds. There again, these are also listed on your printed out building permit. And most of the times, 90% of the time, I'd say these are for deferred submittals. Now, deferred submittal requires a plan review revision. Just remember that you'll have to submit that deferred submittal as a revision to plan review before that hold can be released. So once all the administrative holds are released, then you can then schedule, and all the other one-time inspections are done, then you can schedule your building final. Note that not all building permits have administrative holds, but some do, and some are for like green building, AE green building, possibly affordable housing. So any of those holds would have to be released. You also need to be aware of an SSI hold. Us at building inspections, we cannot see that hold, but if you go to schedule your final, there you may get that error message, and you'll have to contact them to get that cleared up. Next slide, please. The most common reasons projects get delayed. Next slide, please. Similar to what Scott said on residential work not ready when the inspector arrives, I will say on the commercial side, this is the #1 deficiency across all of my teams, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and building. Work's just not ready. It's either incorrect or incomplete. Again, missing documentations, failure to follow approved plans, and then code violations requiring rework. Next slide, please. We have this as another resource. Top 10 tips for successful inspections is on the building inspections page. Next slide, please. And again, Scott went over some of the similar stuff in the residential, but this is inspection wide. Verify work is complete before the scheduled inspection. Like I said, the number one deficiency with commercial is work not ready. I mean, it's pretty obvious sometimes when electrical inspector walks into a building and there's cables and boxes open, and it's like it's not even been checked before the inspection was scheduled. Verify all deficiencies have been corrected. Your inspector, whenever they, if you happen to get a fail, they should be emailing you a deficiency report. And that report, should help you clear up any of those deficiencies. Now, if sometimes there is a possibility that as you're clearing a deficiency, that you might create another one. That happens occasionally. But just remember, we're going by minimum code. So if you've got a deficiency, you're not even meeting minimum code. Schedule the inspection on the ABC portal and use the inspection comment tool. Real helpful. Use that comment tool. Ensure the job site is accessible and special access information is provided directly to the sign inspector or listed on inspection request comments. As Scott mentioned, that inspection request comment is a good thing. Hey, I need the door key, code. Here's my phone number. Give me if you need, like 30 minutes advance notice. Hey, please call this number. Any information you can put on the inspection comment helps. Ensure the job address is posted and visible from the street, including all unit on-site identification. Next slide, please. I put this as an example that happened to me as an electrical inspector. The address was North Plaza, Building 16. There was no comments in the inspection comments. So here I am riding around an apartment complex, and typically apartment complexes have, a way in and a way out, 2 entrances, 2 exits. But this particular complex has an additional. So I rode around that apartment for, 20 minutes. Then I had to fail it and go. I don't have that much time. But if whoever scheduled the inspection would have put, use the south entrance, or please call me if you're having difficult finding the property, I would have called. But we are only limited to the amount of time that we can go to a project to do an inspection because we have so many. So the more information you put on those inspection comments, the better. Next slide, please. Of course, like Scott said, similar, ensure that the latest city-approved plans are accessible for inspection staff. Those should be available on site. Ensure all required documentation is uploaded to the permit. If you're required to have a third-party report, on the permit, it needs to be uploaded before the inspection. Ensure all prerequisite inspection completed before requesting a TCO, occupancy, or final. Yes, if in a commercial case, you might have to have all those one-time inspections done before the building could TCO or final. Sure, someone's familiar with the project available. Communicate with your inspector during the inspection. Yes, I've been on inspections myself, and I go, "What am I here to look at?" And the person that was there goes, "Well, I don't know. They sent me here to walk with you today." So we both did know. Review the building inspection webpage for latest updates. That's a good suggestion. Matter of fact, like today, if you looked on the webpage, it would probably say that inspections may be delayed while staff attend training. So we always put updates on our building page to let you know that, hey, we've got some inspectors got training today, so you might be delayed. We might be delayed. Next slide, please. Contractor project management issues. This would be you. Usually there may be poor communication between the trades. The electrician might get failed and not tell the general contractor, and the general contractor says, didn't know if they got past their rough, so they start sheetrocking, getting ready for their sheetrock inspection. Then come to find out, the electrical inspection didn't even pass, and now inspector comes back out there and goes, "Oh, you got to remove this." So there needs to be a good communication between everybody on a project. Scheduling inspections too late. Yeah, that happens sometimes. I was a contractor before I started with the city, so I understand a lot of this. Lack of clarity on inspection requirements, underestimating leave time for corrections. I will tell you right now, commercially, as a whole, it's probably where our fail rate presently is probably about 15%. So that means 15% of the inspections we go to during the day are probably not going to pass. So if those things are not factored into your schedules, you're already under a tight schedule. I know that, but you might have to start getting things ready a little earlier, to prep for that. Our goal is not to fail you. Our goal is to keep you moving in development, but unfortunately, a lot of times people cannot even meet minimum code, so we have to fail. And sometimes corrections might take a little longer than others. Next slide, please. Strategies to keep your project on track. Next slide, please. Build a realistic timeline with inspection windows built in. Like I said, I was a contractor. I understand that schedules shrink. I remember right before I moved over to the city that all my weather days just got thrown away. I know that, but you have to have time for inspections. I know presently, I know fire inspections are taking a while, so that needs to be determined when you look at when you want to get finals or TCOs and things like that. Pre-inspection checklist for each stage. Like I said, we provide these checklists on our website. Now they're just generic, but they may give you hey, let's go out here and look at this. This might help. Look at before you even schedule your inspection. Maintain clear communication with inspectors and trades. Yeah, talk to your inspector. I mean, we'll if you call us and leave a message, we'll return the call and we could talk to you. You might, while inspectors out there might discuss something, even though, like I said, right now we're really our staff is low and we don't have a lot of time, but You might say, hey, could you look at this? That'll help. Documenting changes and approvals. If you've made any changes on your approved plans, that may require revision. And so that might have to come back through plan review. Use project management tools, track readiness, and dependencies. Next slide, please. All right, so I'm going to turn it back over to Isis. I appreciate y'all being here today, and hopefully this information will help you. Thank you.
Thank you, Marty, and thank you, Scott and Brian, for that helpful information. We learned a lot about inspections, and we really appreciate the tips on how to be successful as well. That was super helpful. So far, we only had one question throughout the presentation. One of our attendees asked if we can have a copy of the slides, and absolutely you can. A copy of the slides will be available on our public meetings page. I went ahead and put the link in addition to the recording for the meeting as well. Throughout the presentation, folks, our teammates said a lot of links, and I put those all in the chat. Those will be linked in our presentation as well. If you didn't get a chance to copy them, don't worry. Those will be available in the presentation as well. And then if we can go to the next slide, please, as folks, if you have any questions, feel free to use the Q&A function or raise your hand. While I see if there's any questions, I'll end with let us know how we did. I put it in the chat as well, but you can use a QR code to scan it from your phone as well, whichever is easiest for you. That sends you to a survey that gives you feedback on how we did today. How did our teammates do? Did you learn something? Was it well explained? Did you like the format? Or any other comments that you might have that help shape future engagements as well. And then make sure to check out our future meetings and our future educational sessions. That's publicinput.com/infoseries. I shared that link earlier in the chat, but you can use that QR code as well to join and see our upcoming sessions. I don't see any question, folks, but thank you, Scott, Brian, and Marty for giving us tons of helpful information. We'll catch you on the next time, and I'll say you'll be seeing a lot from one of my colleagues as well. Her name is Leah Adrian. She'll be facilitating. She's one of our staff members at our engagement team. She works also in the Neighborhood Assistance Center. She'll be facilitating these meetings as well. So you'll be seeing more of her as well in the coming meetings. Thanks, everyone, and have a good rest of your day. Thank you.